If you clicked on this video, you probably want to get rich. So today we're going to talk about the 3 biggest things you can do to get rich. And full disclaimer, it's not instant, but if you want to get rich, you need to do these things, and that is a non-negotiable. Number 1 is income. If you're watching this video, you probably feel like you don't make enough at your job, hence probably why you want to get rich. So if you're living paycheck to paycheck, or you just can't afford life, you need to work on your skills. So that can mean either going back to college, getting a certification or licensure, or maybe starting as an apprentice in a new field. So I'm going to give you guys a pretty crazy example here. I'm an architect and I went to a lot of years of school and trouble just to get my diploma. And after working in the field for a long time, I learned something insane. You can become an architect just by working for 8 consecutive years at an architecture firm and having someone sign off on your hours. This would save you all the years of schooling and all the trouble in order to do this. If you stuck with this for all those 8 years, you would most likely unlock a very, very high 6-figure income for yourself, which is absolutely insane. So this is just a quick example of something that I learned, but this means that other fields could also have this too. If you don't have any college experience, you don't need to be stuck to working lower wage jobs. There are tons of options out there for you, and I highly encourage you to look into what is available. Another crazy thing would be going into the construction field. There are tons and tons of jobs that require skilled labor, and after a couple years of working these jobs, you will work your way to a pretty high position that pays well. So again, open your blinders and start looking around for your options. So while you are looking for higher pay, the next thing you can do is start cutting back on the expenses part of the equation. Take a look at your spreadsheet, and if you don't have one, start making one so you can track your expenses and budget. But you need to start looking at every single line item. Ask yourself, is there a cheaper alternative for this that offers the same value? So for example, I used to go to a very, very expensive gym. I thought I was rolling in the money and I wanted to live it up a little bit. After paying $200 a month for a couple consecutive months, I realized that this might not be the best option for me. I looked around and found a Planet Fitness that had all of the same gym equipment, and even more actually, that only cost $10 a month. I made this change, and now I'm saving over $190 a month doing this. Another good example would be car insurance. Make sure to call around and see if anyone offers any good rates for you. And I do this about every 6 months to make sure I am getting the cheapest price on the same coverage. All right, so now number 3, this is how we actually get rich. So the key to this is investing, and you're probably sick of hearing that word, but it really is the truth. This is how you get rich, and it's very easy. All you have to do is work your job and click a few buttons on your phone, and all of a sudden, you're rich. Well, it actually isn't that easy, but let's talk about it. If you're 18 years old and you factor in inflation, every $1 you invest is worth $56 at the time you retire. And this is factoring in if you invest in the NASDAQ, S&P 500, in international markets. It's the most boring way, but it's the one way to get a very secure return for your whole life. So again, if you're 18 years old and you invest $1,000, all of a sudden that is worth $54,000 at retirement. But the wealthiest people use this as a strategy for buying things, and let me explain how to you. So you're 18 years old and you want to go get a Chipotle after a hard day's workout. Instead of buying that Chipotle for $20, you take that $20 and you invest it into the stock market. Now, all of a sudden, when you're ready to retire, factoring in for inflation, you now have $1,000 instead of $20, which could buy you Chipotle once a week for the entire year. But the key here isn't depriving yourself of all fun, and especially at a young age. What if, instead of buying that Chipotle for $20, you decided to not get guacamole, saved yourself $5, and just invested the difference there? That would still be worth a substantial amount of money when you retire. So again, for example, if you saved $5 every time you went out to eat, and you went out to eat maybe once a month, let's say, when you're ready to retire, that $5 you saved every month would now be worth $33,000. And that is by only investing $2,500 over the course of 42 years. So I want to step it up a notch. The other year, I wanted to buy a car. And instead of buying the car in cash, I went ahead and took $100,000 and put it in the stock market. This $100,000 produces me $1,000 a month in investment gains. So what I did is I now took out a car payment and bought the same car I was going to get in the first place. And now my $1,000 a month goes into the car payment. And what this gives me is after 5 years, my car is entirely paid off and I still have all that additional money in my investment account. So at the end of the day, I pretty much just got a free car out of this just by letting my money sit. So what we learned from this is to think hard about what you're buying, and maybe there's a better way to do it by investing your money. So at the end of the day, when I'm ready to retire in about 20 or 30 years, it is really gonna show. I never wasted my money on physical items. What I'm doing is just finding a better way to buy these items by letting the stock market buy them for me. And as you get older, I'm sure you'll see this a lot, but you'll have a lot of friends in your life putting things like a house, a car, college, whatever it is, on a bank loan. And what they're going to do is work and work and work just to pay these loans off. Well, if you're really smart about what you do and think about the options considering investing, you can get a lot of these things without working for it. At the end of the day, again, you're letting your investments buy the things you want. And sure, this takes some delayed gratification, but at the end of the day, it will be worth it for you. Trust me on this, guys. So if you haven't done so already, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe. I've got 19 subscribers right now, and honestly, you'll probably never see this channel again, and so it costs you nothing to hit that button, and I appreciate it for all of those who do. But without further ado, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.